Hello, everybody. Tonight, I am continuing my 28 days of my pyramid of optimal physical performance. And tonight, what I want to discuss is recovery strategies. So what do we do after a workout to recover? Another thing is some anti-aging strategies. So if we think of our body like a bucket, there are certain things that empty our physiological bucket, and then there's certain things that fill our bucket. Or another way to look at it is if we look at our body really as a battery, there are certain things that are going to drain our battery, and then there's certain things we need to do to recharge that battery. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But in terms of our recovery strategies, the first thing is, and it's beyond the scope of this talk tonight to really dig into our nutrition, but in terms of our nutritional strategies, just keeping it really simple, we want to eat minimally processed whole foods. We really want to focus on single ingredient foods. So I want to ask you this question, and it's a difficult question, but I want you to put your thinking hat on here. How many ingredients are in broccoli? How many ingredients are in carrots? How many ingredients are in spinach? Okay, how many? One, that's right. So these are single ingredient foods, and that's really what we want to focus on. You know, our lean sources of protein, whether it's chicken, beef, turkey, fish, single ingredient foods. So the further we get away from minimally processed whole foods, the better it is, or the closer we get to minimally processed whole foods, the better it is. The further we get away from anything that comes in a box, a bag, or a wrapper, the better it is. Now, today, there's more and more health foods that are maybe coming in a box, bag, or wrapper, but typically, if we really want to optimize health, we want to eat food as fresh as possible. After workout, especially if you're a heavy sweater, when I did an internship at one of the top athletic centers in the country, I was there for a couple of weeks, and we studied, we did some significant studies on the blood work of the athletes, and found that every single one of the athletes tested was deficient in magnesium. And magnesium is essential for over 300 different enzyme functions within the body. But when we think about magnesium, and we're losing a lot of our electrolytes through perspiration, what are our electrolytes? Obviously calcium, magnesium, sodium, potassium. Those are 4 macro minerals. And so those are the minerals we need to replace after a workout. But if you look at, for instance, the marketing hype that surrounds, you know, sports performance drinks like Gatorade, and it's just pure garbage. It's just sugar and some synthetic minerals thrown into a drink that just really isn't healthy for the human body. So we want to be careful in our selection of supplements that we're using. We can use things like glutamine powder, which is excellent for aiding in muscle recovery, protein powders, green drinks, things of this nature. But when it comes to supplementation, most people just take a shotgun approach. So, you know, they read an article or their friend's taking a supplement, and they're like, well, maybe I should take that. You know, there are way too many variables that go into whether or not, you know, a supplement is necessarily good for you. So is the supplement good? Yes, it may be good, but is it good for you? So today we're finding more and more people that are using inferior products. So that's strike one. You know, they're buying their supplements at Walmart or Costco, and they're focusing on one thing, and that's the price. Oh, I can get 90 tablets for $6. You've got a $1 billion body. You have to start thinking of it as an investment when you're putting good quality nutrients in your body, not at an expense, because the expense will come in when you're not taking care of your body. and your body starts to fall apart. So we really have to look at things a little bit differently. So another thing too is, there's really, really poor quality protein drinks out there. And then there's some very good quality protein supplements out there. It's the raw materials that are more expensive. So make sure that if you are taking a supplement, whenever you can, try and consult with some sort of health and fitness professional that knows what they're talking about before you just buy something off the shelf. Green drinks, really important when we're going through intense exercise. We tend to really increase and acidify our pH balance in our bodies. So this is a way to really neutralize some of those acids. If you think about acids, so we think about oxidation or acids, rotting of meat, rusting of a car, that's oxidation. So when we have high intensity exercises, or we're inducing a lot of stress into our body, we create a very acidic environment. So we want to neutralize those acids. And for a lot of people, they can't do that with just food, and that's why we recommend green drinks to a lot of our clients, simply because it takes about 20 parts alkalinity to neutralize just 1 part acid. So you'd have to eat bags and bags of green vegetables sometimes to neutralize those acids that have been produced. So again, there's a lot that goes into, selecting supplements. It's not just, are they good quality, but are they good for me, and are they appropriate for me at this time? Because the variables are always changing. So we have to make sure we're changing with those variables. Another thing too is, and we talked about this in earlier videos, but just getting good quality sleep. And that really starts with good sleep hygiene. So you want to sleep in a cool, dark room. Temperature of the room anywhere from 62 to 67 is optimal. You want to make sure, I like to sleep with either making sure I have darkening shades or a sleep mask, just to make sure you're not getting any light when you sleep, because that can really stimulate the pineal gland, and that decreases production of melatonin. You're not going to get good quality sleep. So just make sure that you're in a nice, cool, dark room. And then another thing too is we really want to minimize blue light exposure. So being on an iPad, being in front of a computer, being in front of a TV, and you can see I'm breaking one of the rules right now because I'm in front of a computer before I'm going to bed. Typically, I'm wearing my blue light blocking glasses, but tonight I am being, shall we say, imperfect. So forgive me for that. We all have our flaws. So just make sure, like you said, before you go to bed, at least an hour, as much as 2 hours before you go to bed, you want to stay away from those electronic devices. And then another thing too is just maintaining good tissue quality after a workout, doing things like myofascial release. So there's so many tools out there. There's foam rolls, there's massage balls that are firmer, bigger. You can see this is like the size of a lacrosse ball. You've got massage sticks. Everybody has to have a massage stick. I mean, this is the best investment you can make in tissue quality. Never, ever, ever travel without this. This stick has saved me so many times when I've been on hiking trips. Just really felt horrible. Plus, it packs real easy. It packs much easier than a foam roll. And then I always bring like a lacrosse ball or one of these smaller massage balls, but that can really help with recovery. So we want to make sure that today we're not just thinking of working out, but we're also thinking about working in. So when we work out, we're depleting our battery. We're losing some of that electrical charge. We're emptying our physiological bucket, so to speak. So we have to do things that are going to recharge our batteries, that are going to fill our physiological bucket. And so we want to do what's called cultivate life force, or chi, or prana, life force, whatever you want to call it. Basically what we're doing is we're just recharging our battery. So it's important that we recharge on a regular basis, and we make sure we have the strategies in place that not only are we stressing our body, but we're doing things that will facilitate and foster recovery. So tomorrow tonight I was going to talk a little bit more about some of the aging and anti-aging strategies, but I'm going to go ahead and save that tomorrow because I want to get a little bit more in depth with that, and I don't want this video to get too long. So think of your recovery strategies after you're working out. Just remember, you've got obviously good quality nutrition, supplementation, your sleep quality is so critical, and then making sure you're doing some sort of myofascial release to optimize tissue quality. So after workouts, muscles want to get short and tight. What we want to do is increase the length of that tissue. And obviously when I get more into my flexibility component, I'll elaborate on some of these techniques and principles, but we just always want to make sure we're looking at our body holistically, and we're not just isolating and compartmentalize one component of fitness. We see this a lot of times with clients that come in when they're doing rehabilitation with us. For instance, we'll see people that I love to run, I love to jog, and that's all they do, especially if they're competing or they're training for a marathon. They're spending so much time running, and they're not spending enough time on some of these recovery strategies and tissue quality. And what happens is they develop these imbalances, and that's how they get hurt. So it's, you want to think about muscular strength, muscular endurance, cardiovascular, flexibility, these recovery strategies that I spoke about tonight. So we want to make sure your program is complete to optimize functionality in your body, to make sure you recover so you can be at your best. So if you learned anything tonight, if you got some value from the video, if you would please like the video. If you know a friend or family member that might be able to benefit from this type of information, please share the video. We're starting to get more and more people that are understanding, how complex this human body is, and the fact that we have to navigate through all the misinformation that's out there. So my objective here is to really make sure I share the truth with you. I've made a ton of mistakes. I've got, methodologies and principles over the years that I've adopted, and then what I've done is I've learned sometimes that this particular methodology or this principle isn't going to necessarily be a one-size-fits-all. And so, you can learn from my 27 years of trial and error, and, I've made a lot of the mistakes for you. So hopefully you pick something up in this video. Again, please like it, please share it, and until I see you tomorrow, stay well.